Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's monthly meeting of the Baltimore County Human Resources Commission. Chair, Chrissy Johnson, will commence by welcoming all of you to tonight's meeting, both in person and online, and start with our roll call, if that's okay. Commissioner Jelani Shea, Commissioner Orr, Freer,
I'm here.
present. Commissioner Chia, Commissioner Fritz, Commissioner Lucas White, Jackson, Commissioner Thornton, present. Commissioner Marshall, Commissioner McCready, Commissioner Chia,
Yes.
present.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Commissioner Davis, can you hear us?
should be present. Okay. Commissioner Miles, and we have Commissioner Emeritus Blavitt,
Present.
Commissioner Emeritus Myrick. Present. We also, for the record, have staff in the room, and we also have the county attorney, James Benjamin, in the room. Can we confirm that Commissioner Davis is available for note taking for the next?
She said she can't hear anything. She's trying to troubleshoot.
Okay. In the interim, we'll have to ask or ask someone else from the big minutes.
Yeah.
David? Okay.
Okay. Are we able to make sure the recording is hearing itself? It is. Okay, perfect. So we're going to ask, entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. If you didn't receive it electronically, it is in your folder. Starting with the call to order, we've just accomplished the welcome and the roll call. Is there a motion to approve?
So blue.
You can't.
Oh, is there a motion to active?
Where I was.
Active motion to approve the minutes? Okay, Commissioner Miles, is there a second? Yes. Thank you for that. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda as presented? Say aye. Yes. Any opposition has the same right? Okay, the ayes have it. We've approved our agenda. Hopefully you've had a chance to review the minutes prepared by Commissioner Davis from our last meeting, which was virtual on June 11th. I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Miles. Any second on that motion? Thank you, Commissioner Chia. And before we approve, is there any discussion, updates, or changes to the minutes as presented? Okay, all in favor to approve the minutes from the June 11th meeting, say aye. Those opposing have the same right. Any opposition? Okay, the ayes have it, and the previous meeting minutes are approved. So we'll move into the chairperson remarks. It is a pleasure to be back with you all this season. It is a pleasure to serve as your chair. We've had a lot of transition, both in the staff team, and there will be some transition as we welcome new commissioners tonight. We'll give them a chance to introduce themselves in just a moment. But I wanted to really emphasize how important the work that we do as a commission is, how blessed and privileged we are to be able to do it. And we're going to continue on the path of our really successful subcommittee work that we started at the beginning of this year to move that work forward. You may have noticed over the past few meetings, we've had some guest speakers and we've had some topics to really provide professional development to us as commissioners and also to sensitize us to some of the things that are happening out in the county that may be informing some of the claims that we receive and some of the bias and hate acts that we are adjudicating. And so at the meeting before last, we were privileged to have the executive director of the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights to come and spend some time talking to us about the state of the work. And we got to hear about how they process claims. We got to hear the statistics about what things are happening in the state of Maryland as far as reported claims and all of those things. And tonight, I took the executive privilege to have another topic of discussion. So I focused, as you can see in your agenda, on having a guest speaker come to talk to us about anti-Semitism. I'm very excited and hopeful that he'll join us on the WebEx soon in time for his presentation. But as I mentioned to some of our newer commissions, I want to make sure that we don't leave any discussion on the table. So if there's a community that you represent or that you're interested in, if there are needs of that community, please come to me personally or during new business, raise those up. We want to use our meeting time to always incorporate a little bit of personal development and hearing about lived experience to really keep our finger to the pulse of the people in our community and not just this work we're doing on paper, but to really just understand what the causes are. We started this year with a charge to have partner organizations. And so this also represents that, right? Like we're partnering with the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. Our speaker tonight is from the Baltimore Jewish Council, but also affiliated with the Associated. We can count them as a new partner. And as always, of course, you can count Associated Black Charities as one of the commission's partners. So those are the remarks I have for you. Are there any questions for me? Any insights or points anyone would like to raise at this point? All right, we're going to move on to the next agenda item, which is the introduction of our new commissioners. We brought 3 new commissioners on that were duly appointed by our county executive in this season, and 2 of them are here present, and I'm excited for us to get to know them. But we'll start first with our seasoned commissioners and commissioners emeriti and give them a chance to introduce themselves and our staff that are in the room. We'll hear more in detail from our new chair of our department, but let's start with Emeritus Commissioner Myrick and go around and then we'll, and then we'll end with our new commissioners where we'll love to hear a little bit more about you and your interest in serving. So,
Okay, I'm Cecilia Myrick. I was appointed to the Human Relations Commission by County Executive Judge Rupersberger and appointed by every other county executive after me. And then, that's how many years I've served. And we've had all different kind of committees and we've done a lot of exciting things. My dear friend, he was chair there for a good long time. One of the commissioners said, we ought to get rid of him and get somebody.
oh my goodness.
For so long.
I was the one that said that.
I said, he's doing such a great job. We need him. So he stayed there for a long time. You know, I'm involved in a lot of other community organizations. I sit on CCBC's board of foundation at Essex. Sit on the Baltimore County Licensed Beverage Association. Served on the Human Baltimore County Commission for Women for 30 years. Served on the Boys Quarters Improvement Association. I've got a whole list, and that's just part of them. But I'm quite busy. I started out this morning, 8 o'clock at CCDC with a retreat meeting with Chesapeake Gateway Chamber president. So I'm a little busy, even though I'm retired. Seafood restaurant for 35 years. Then I said, well, I'm going to retire, but I haven't stopped.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you so much.
Jason Blavitt, also was appointed by Judge Rupersberger. Had the pleasure of serving on the commission for many years and then also chaired for many years. And it was actually a great opportunity to think we were going through a lot of things in the county, and it's a great opportunity to have new leadership, new breath, new energy, and so excited there are so many new commissioners joining the commission. It's, I said many times in the meeting that I hoped we didn't exist, meaning that there was no need for us to exist. But fortunately, my father has been very involved at the state level and county as well, time even, in working, towards, civil rights. And this was an opportunity for me to get back to, my community and probably what, we could do with others such as yourselves. And really, it really is, this is an opportunity for us in a new world, a new day, to really make sure we address the
Thank you. Commissioner Sheehan?
Hi everyone, my name is Shu Lixia and I'm president of Chinese American Parents Association of the Baltimore community. And I just joined this human relation in this commission this year, so it's just of course very appreciate learning another new stuff. And I'm interested in this commission because I want to know the diversity and perspective of the county level, and also to contribute from the Asian Americans and see what we have contribute to the country.
And I'm Chrissy Thornton. I was appointed by Johnny Olszewski, at first as a commissioner and then as the chair in December of 2024. I'm the president and CEO of Associated Black Charities. And so I'm excited to do this work with you all. Let's go to staff and then we'll hear from our new members.
Hello, I'm Rashawn Bryan. I am the chief of DEI for Baltimore County. Come from the private sector, but I'm excited to do the work here in Baltimore County for what I understand we have work to do, but we have the space to get the work done. So happy to meet you all and get this going this year.
My name is David Skinner. I'm the program manager for the Human Relations Commission. I've been serving in this capacity since February. Some of you are familiar with me before I even took this post when I was working with the HCD as a fair housing compliance manager. What's this work going for?
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Flowershell, and I'm a co-founder or the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and I work under these two special men. And I do all of the compliance work when it comes to DEI.
And our special guest?
Sure. Good evening. I'm James Benjamin, county attorney. Here to serve as your counsel. The question. I'm here to provide that for you. I must say this is kind of a homecoming for me. Any county attorney, I was a commissioner on this very body. So it's good to see everybody again. Today.
So let's start with Commissioner. Oh, I'm sorry.
We have two commissioners.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot.
I don't know if
Thank you.
I don't know if
Commissioner Greer?
Commissioners Greer and Davis, are you able to introduce yourselves on the WebEx?
I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we sure do.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. I was having some audio issues. My name is Melissa Davis. I have been on this commission for maybe 8 months at this point. I'm a resident of Baltimore County. I live in the Overley area. I'm just excited to assist in any way possible to do the work that I think is so important around here. And I want to welcome our new commissioners. I guess a little bit about me. I work in the DEI space in human resources for employment. So I thought this was a really good way of giving back to the community.
And Commissioner Davis forgot to mention that she is our elected secretary. So we're very grateful for her service. Commissioner Greer, Judge Greer, are you able to speak?
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Very low.
Okay. My apologies for not being there in person. I'm in another last minute mandatory meeting, but I want to thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all of the commissioners. My name is Michelle Greer. I'm an attorney, and I serve clients in family law, civil litigation, and various other areas of law throughout the state of Maryland. I'm also a member of the judiciary in Baltimore County, and I sit on the Women's Commission in Baltimore County as well. I've been on this commission now, and I think for about 5 years, and I'm very proud to see us coming back up to speed. I'm proud to welcome all of our new commissioners and glad to see some old faces back as well. And look forward to us doing wonderful things together. And I'm also co-chair. I've been nominated to that seat as well. So I thank you all, and my apologies again for not being present.
Thank you. And so we'll go to Commissioner Jelani Shea. Is that how you say it? And I'm so excited to say we finally have someone in our young youth seat, our student seat. So love to know more about you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dana. I'm currently a student. I'm taking a gap year, but also take some classes at UBC. I run a media company called The People's Record. My focus is on representation and voice. I joined the commission so that I could make a difference in the community, and I look forward to working with you all.
Well,
And Commissioner Miles.
Thank you. First, it's a real honor of mine to be able to join all of you on this table. Very excited about the work that we have ahead of us and that I can join into. So I'm Patrick Miles. I am Chief Strategy Officer at the Art Baltimore. I've been with the Art for the last 3 years, and prior to that, I was at Hero Price for 25 years, serving in a lot of different manager type roles. But I had the privilege at Zero Price probably about 15 years ago, standing up a lot of the DI work for the organization, spearheading a lot of the business resource groups. And I stepped into a lot of allyship roles and doing to learn what it is to be an ally. So I was the first male to join our women's roundtable, which was empowering voice of women. And at the time, everybody, that's 10 plus years ago, everybody thought it was nuts. What are you doing stepping into the women's roundtable? Well, I was managing an organization primarily females. And so I was very proud to step in and become and learn what it meant to be an ally. And I repeated that pattern in doing that for our Mosaic Business Resource Group, supporting race and culture, and then did the same for our Pride Resource Group. So I ended up in my career for a decade or so, really stepping into all those organizations. So when I joined the Art Baltimore 3 years ago, I had the privilege of standing up our work in committee. So have sort of a very similar structure around at the Art Baltimore now. And so I am a co-chair and we have subcommittees. And it's been tremendously successful. This year has been interesting and continuing with this work, but I'm proud to say we have kept our course because that's who we are. They're a neurodiverse population. So I'm excited to bring my experiences and hopefully some skills to this table in the work. Thank you all.
Thank you. So welcome to both of you. We're excited to just have you dive right into the work. We're going to use a little bit of our time now to do a little bit of orientation and onboarding. Of course, this will be preaching to the choir for those who have been with us. But with you, under your folders or with your folders, you should have a copy of our governing documents. One is Article 29 from Baltimore County Code, and the other one is a copy of our commission bylaws, the Human Relations Commission bylaws. And certainly for those online, we'll make these documents available to you. These are the two documents that govern who we are, what we do, what we're allowed to do, and what we should be focusing on. Certainly for new commissioners, and also kind of like as a refresh for the rest of us, we're just going to run through some concepts. I did give you copies of the slides because I know you may not be able to see them on the screen, but Dave, if you can be the one to advance the slide. So of course, welcome. Our mission is defined to advance equity, to eliminate discrimination, and promote human dignity in Baltimore County. That's a lot to bear, right? Like a lot. We're using like the real like banality of structural systems that have been part of our charge. But we should be both advocates and neutral problem solvers and decision makers for the county. You'll hear when you hear from our new chair, and who's also duly serves as the executive director of our HRC. some of the changes and that are being implemented. And it really is a right sizing to make sure that we are operating in accordance with the governing documents that kind of oversee our work anyway. Our purpose is to build community trust as commissioners. Again, you have it, but we were established under Article 29 of the County Code. We are an independent body, and we address discrimination in a few key places: housing, employment, education, which we'll talk about, public accommodations, financing. And so it is our job actually to work through complaints, investigations, hearings, and recommendations for the county. So the one, we've talked about this before as a commission, the one category that's not well defined in the statute is the one around education. And so as we work through what our charge is, we'll have to address that. But the others are very well defined in the conduct for our work. Slide 3 talks about our role, the role of a commissioner. We are, yes, guardians of fairness. We need to make sure that we maintain impartiality, that it is always our goal to be problem solvers for the county on behalf of the county. And so we want to explore settlement and make sure conflict does not unnecessarily escalate. We should be building trust as a body that the community can not only rely on to inform them of their rights, but to carry out the due process against those rights through our own outreach and education of the community, to build a bridge from the county to the community to be a safety mechanism for them to know that there is redress for any harm that they face that falls under our jurisdiction. We are also to recommend changes to our county executive and to the county council. And in fact, there are some things in our bylaws that need to be updated and or need to have congruence to our Article 29 and may place us in position to have to make those amendments before the county council so that our documents can be consistent. And then we should have teamwork and collaboration as commissioners and alongside the staff to make sure that this work gets done responsibly. Our responsibilities are to attend regular meetings and any hearings that we're called to participate in, to review complaints, evidence, and staff findings. So we're going to talk about this because as Rashawn talks a little bit about his work and how he is working to kind of make sure that we're in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing, we are going to be making sure that we are stepping up for these responsibilities. We can, when appointed, serve on hearing panels. Of course, we need to uphold confidentiality and ethical standards. We can vote on recommendations for policy changes, decisions, and orders, and we should be in an ongoing way participating in community events and trainings to enhance our own professional development. Many of us represent specific districts in Baltimore County, while others of us, like myself, serve as members at large. We do have some powers as a commission, and they come specifically from Article 29, referenced in Title 3, which we'll talk about a little bit in detail today. And that is one power that we have, is to investigate complaints of discrimination. We can conduct hearings. We can issue evidentiary subpoenas. We can recommend policy changes. We can collaborate with other agencies. We can also recommend mediation services and other conciliation services. I know our longstanding members knew all of that, but as a new member, I had no idea that's what we should have been focused on and doing. And in fact, because many of us came on at the heels of the implementation of the new strategic plan, we've been highly focused on components of the strategic plan, maybe, in excess of being focused on the actual charge issued to us through Title 3. Anyone have any comments on that? Thoughts? Okay. So we'll talk about through Title 3 what the complaint life cycle looks like, what we should be doing, what our role is in the complaints, any remedies that the commission has the authority and power to order or enforce, and what our ongoing community work looks like. But on the slides, if you look at slide number 9, this really speaks to, or slide number 8 first, the strategic plan that was developed by the county and that we put into we started to operationalize at the beginning of this year. And so they had a number of goals for this commission, and we needled down to 3 of them that we've been actively working on all year. And one was a focus on community partnerships. The second was to establish a signature event for our commission. And the third was to enhance education and awareness. That included our print material, our online presence, and the education of community members so that they would know what their rights are, so that we would have a large, not that we're inviting complaints, but we would have a representative influx of complaints to the actual sentiment that people who are living in the county experience. And so in doing that work, we established 3 subcommittees for this commission that have been actively working. The first one was to focus on community partnerships, and their goals were to build relationships with organizations who are aligned in this work. The second was to enhance visibility and influence and to strengthen resource sharing. We decided as a commission, we didn't want to reinvent wheels where there are on the ground community people doing this work. Instead, we wanted to invite them into partnership. And that's part of what the speaker series at the meeting has begun to do. And I'm really proud of that work. That committee has been working in, Bibios, can you remind me who the chair of that subcommittee is?
For which committee?
For the community partnerships? Is that the gentleman?
Oh, Commissioner Jackson?
Jackson, yes. Okay. The second subcommittee has been focused on establishing a signature event for our commission, and it's an annual flagship event. The idea was to create a platform for connection, for education and advocacy for the community, but that it would also be inclusive of cultural recognition. And the subcommittee for that
That's, Afria Lucas White.
is,
and,
yes.
Andrea Johnson Fritz.
Yes, and they have been actively meeting, working, moving, shaking. And I see and note that they're not here tonight, but hopefully the staff can give us a little bit of an update because they have been full steam ahead on their charge and actually have some great things in store for us. We might just need to kind of get the business of the event settled tonight, but they've been actively working. And the third one is on education and awareness. So we're talking about accessibility of our materials. We talked a little bit about translation of the materials, but also how easy the materials are to like digest and follow, how we are able to distribute them and put them in people's hands, both in physical form and online, whether we were going to implement webinars and other learning experiences so that people could just be informed about their basic rights protected by the commission, and foster more of an understanding and a sensitivity around human rights and to empower community advocacy. And so that committee has been doing a deep dive and looking at our current materials and trying to figure out how we can enhance them so that we can meet the needs of more people. This is where those of us who represent specific districts and communities have been informing that work, talking about, why people might not have the trust to file claims, or might not know how to file claims, or might not be able to access the information. Is it, visually accessible? Is it, linguistically accessible, and all the things? This committee, I know we'll talk tonight, hopefully, about our budget, because some of this work that we're doing also depends on what resources we have to push it forward. So I'm going to leave this here now so that I can give the next 10 minutes to our new chair of DEI, who also serves as the appointed executive director of the commission, Mr. Rashawn Bryan, to cover his section. And then as there's time, I have created what I call a cheat sheet, and I'll hand that out or ask for help handing that out. And this is, listen, you have Article 29. You have a copy of our bylaws, right? Yeah. And you may not want to read county code. I know I don't like reading county code. So I have taken the liberty of giving you a little cheat sheet, right? That like kind of covers all of the things that are under our auspices in Article 29. We're specifically over this meeting and the next meeting going to start looking at Title 3, which is what really defines what we should be doing as a commission. So I'll turn it over to our chief.
Hello again. I won't be 10 minutes. It's really short. Basically, as Chrissy mentioned, that we are right sizing. Basically, it's making sure the commission has the power to do the activities that are necessary and that you should be doing, the work that you are here to do. And currently, the bylaws and Article 29 aren't in line completely. So basically, for the next couple of meetings, we should discuss basically what exactly you all want to be doing, need to be doing, and then what is our role as staff to support you in making these decisions. Then when it comes to intake, that is something that, from what I understand, this commission hasn't handled in quite some time, or if at all. So what we want to do, again, is put you all back in the power to be able to observe, analyze, and take on this information. Again, but that won't be able to happen until we get the bylaws in Article 29 to coincide, basically. That's really it. We just want to put the power back in your hands so that we can support you better. Am I missing anything, James?
But I think you did it.
Or no, overall, because we're going to get into it as the time goes on. So, but that's just an overview of what the changes want to happen will be.
Said that you hope to figure out what you want in your bylaws to make sure it's consistent with Article 3, Article 9. Determine the parameters, and then you would probably have that submitted to the executive director, who would then work for me, make sure all bases are
So there are going to have to be a lot of process changes as we change how we show up. Now, I do have the historical question. Have you all ever done the investigation? I know we've done closed case reviews. Have you ever done the initial?
We never did that.
Never did that. Okay. So we're a little bit out of alignment with what the county chartered us to do. And so if you look at my little cheat sheet, or you can look at Article 29, whichever you feel most comfortable with, it has 3 titles, right? The first one kind of gives us a little bit of general terminology and those kind of things. The second one, Title 2, talks about our areas of jurisdiction. So it duly defines housing, employment, public accommodations, and financing as areas where we should be protecting Baltimore County residents from discrimination and bias. And then notice it doesn't mention education, even though education was in the initial charter. And then lastly, Title 3. So Title 3 is our procedures, right? And as it's been stated, it seems like we haven't been operating according to these procedures. And in order to get in alignment with it, it's going to take us a few meetings to kind of outline what the protocol is. But if you look at it, Title 3 gives us what we're allowed to do as a commission. It gives us the opportunity to investigate complaints about discrimination in those areas. And so not just to do the closed case reviews, but to actually investigate the complaints and to go through the intake and process of what it means to take a case from submission to results. It gives us the opportunity to run trainings and community workshops, to hold public hearings and issue orders. Again, to recommend the policies to county leaders and work with other agencies in our county, across the state, or even at the federal level. And with support of our county attorney, it allows us to use legal tools. I think the job just got like highly more like, right? Like, right? Like, we were planning like a couple of festivals, and now we can use legal tools, right? Like, so an example that came up was like, for instance, one of the areas under our jurisdiction, if someone refuses to rent to veterans, the commission could call a witness. We could subpoena rental records and if needed, hold a hearing. That's heavy stuff, but this is what we've been charged with. And so we're gonna have to implement some of this work into what we do. We can also call out patterns of discrimination. So especially in finance, like the example it talked about is like, for instance, banks turning away certain neighborhoods, or we can identify through claims that are submitted to us any kind of patterns that exist. How complaints get started. Anyone who knows the process and feels discriminated against right now files claims through our process, and they have been being handled by staff. And then at some point, we as a full commission have had the opportunity to do the closed case reviews of those cases, but we've not adjudicated, we've not investigated, we've not done any of that work. So we're going to be working with staff to come up with a legal process to implement our involvement in that really meaningful work. So I hope that you all are excited about that. So you've heard me refer to Mr. Bryant in a number of ways. He is the chief of the DEI agency for the county. But in that role, he also serves as the executive director for the commission. So he has a very strong role in investigating and or deciding if claims go forward as well in partnership with us. He reviews all of the complaints, and then we have some timelines we'll be held to, like 30 days to, respond, and other timeframes to investigate and then to enforce compliance. The biggest thing is that we maintain transparency, that we make decisions as a full commission, and that we, make sure that we're serving the community the best way we can. And so all of this will require a lot of technical processes. How do we get claims? How does intake happen? What's the secure way that the information gets to the commissioners? How can we timely make decisions? How can we investigate claims and have access to information in a secure way when we don't have county email addresses and all these kind of things? And so it's going to take some time to work out, but we want to share that this is the intention of where we're going to go with that. Any questions or thoughts?
Quick question. So describing the direction that we're moving into and being able to exercise some of these capabilities that we have as a commission, like the investigations, for example. Are you or is anyone else able to sort of paint a picture of what does that actually look like and who's doing that? Just for my own.
So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but using what I've observed that's happening now as complaints come in, the first step is to even decide if it's jurisdiction of the county and the commission and or the office of DEI, right? And so there are some claims that we've reviewed, closed case claims that were closed on this level because they weren't even ours to investigate, right? Like they might be cases that need to be sent to the EEOC or to the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights or other investigative bodies. Now, when it comes to cases that we say, yes, this is a claim, it fits under our jurisdiction, I have no idea. So
Right, so what we intend to do and plan to do is get you all of us, everyone in this room, training in order to do that efficiently. And if you have training, then we'll get updated training for you. And from there, we'll move forward. And the time being, any complaints that come in, we will have the department in Baltimore County take those complaints so that they are recognized while we get our house in order. So training will be provided.
And that's training in
And investigation. So
of how to do the investigation.
yeah, and then and James has to make sure we comply with all the necessary legal aspects of that.
Okay.
And in terms of the actual complaints coming to us, that is a both legal and technical issue. For lack of a better word. So we're currently working on an automation for the initial complaint being sent in and the actual complaint form that the complaint fills out. But from there, as Chrissy said, figuring out how to actually bring it all to your tables from the county to Gmail, let's say, is where we have some friction. But the beautiful thing is that we have time. We have time to figure that out. And the worst case scenario, if we were already investigation, training, and all the necessary tools, the worst case scenario is that we press forward from our county to your.
I also think one of the things that you should be mindful of as you go process to work through these is thinking about the pieces that you all could do where you may need some assistance, because under our code, there is options for being able to, as they say, authorize personnel to assist the commission with different things that you are able to do on the self-hiding. 29. So those are things to be thinking about. You look at intake, complaints, what it is that you think you can do, what is it you think you may need help with, because that's part of what we're going to be looking at and how we'll be helping out with the commission and with the executive director. Just keep that in mind as you're going through this process.
At some point, historically, anything that came in, it was intentionally blocked from the commissioners so that it was vetted, even if there was something presented, names were not shared, no identifying information. And it was vetted by staff, and that case often has been, for many of the cases, did not apply to, the commission didn't have the authority to address it. So that's what to do, but this is a very different approach to actually allowing the commission to engage.
Let's do the work. I hope you're excited for it.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the tough stuff that we're here for, and so I'm glad that we'll have the training and the professional development so that we can rise to the occasion and actually be the trusted source of, getting these claims closed out properly.
Do you know how many complaints we had last year?
Well, do we know this year? Because I know we talked
This year.
this year, but between January and June, I believe it was 9. We're at 9 complaints.
Well, state, we're at 25 inquiries.
Okay.
Inquiries meaning contact from constituents, by phone, email, where they expressed a concern they feel like the HRC could address. So it doesn't necessarily mean that those are what they call a merited complaint, where it falls under a jurisdiction, but it means it's something that we still address. We either acknowledge it as something and then explain that it's not within the jurisdiction of the HRC to handle and try to refer them to an external source, or maybe there might be another internal source. We've had employees call. Otherwise, if it is something that looks like it falls within the jurisdiction, then we try to take it through a process where we can go into it further and try to assist that.
So we're going to have to take this on. Obviously, from the presentation we heard from the MCCR, they're overflowing with cases at the state level. So it just doesn't make rational sense that we wouldn't also have more claims. And so that tells us there's just some flaws in the trust of the system and maybe the education of our community that people aren't filing. And so we'll have to right size all of that.
Yeah, and outreach. So, I'm not sure of all the outreach attempts or programs, but I feel as though that if we focus on that we're in front of the right people and the right organizations, then we would know that we're programs. Fine.
So you just teed me up for the next agenda item.
Okay,
I appreciate that.
thank you.
Yeah. Maybe as our speaker is on, if you could please unmute and give him camera privileges, anything that he needs, and make sure the volume is turned up so that he can hear. So one of our charges is to make sure that we hear from communities with lived experience, with bias and all those kind of things. I'm passing out now a statement that was recently, his name is Howard.
So make them a panelist?
Yes.
Oh.
That was recently released from the Baltimore Jewish Council. Again, they are an agency of the Associated and are doing great work, certainly with Associated Black Charities. Today, in particular, we all know about the conflict internationally and everything that's happening. That's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about the uptick of anti-Semitism in Maryland, in Baltimore, and in Baltimore County. And I think we are so privileged to have with us Mr. Howard Levitt, who is the executive director of the Baltimore Jewish Council, who can shed some light on not only the ways that, I know, right? Like our tech is weird, but Howard, you're gonna have to speak up when it's your time. Not only some of the anti-Semitism that's happening, but how those acts of hate are informing the whole ecosystem here in the Baltimore region of hate acts, bias toward everyone. And so, Howard, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you too. Just if you can
Great.
speak up, that would be helpful.
Sure. I absolutely. Thank you all for the opportunity to speak. I apologize for not being there in person. I just finished a pre-existing commitment to speak to the law school class taught by Delegate Rosenberg and Senator Hedelman. So I'm sitting outside in the lobby here at the law school where their internet is down today. So I'm going through my phone on a hotspot. So hopefully it holds together. I am executive director of the Baltimore Jewish Council, and very briefly, what we do is we are the advocacy arm of the Associated and our broader Jewish community in Baltimore. So we lobby at the local, state, and federal level. We speak out on issues of importance. We lead the community fight against anti-Semitism. We focus on Israel education and advocacy. We focus on Holocaust commemoration and remembrance, interfaith relations and intra-faith relations, so building relationships between the Jewish community and our other communities, as well as building deeper relationships across our Jewish communities. The community's director of security, retired Baltimore County Police Colonel, is on my staff as well and does a lot of work with synagogues, schools, churches, whoever, to help think about their security apparatus. We also fight, as I mentioned, the fight against anti-Semitism, and also the Elijah Cummings Youth Program in Israel, a 2-year fellowship for students in the Congressman's congressional district. Nearly 30 years now, leadership, service, building deeper relations between our Black and Jewish teenagers. But what I'm here to focus on is, and thank you for the invitation, Chrissy, to present, is anti-Semitism. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that we're seeing the surge in anti-Semitism and hatred towards Jews in our country, in our state, and right here in Baltimore County. I would say that the surge really began, I think, around the time of that awful rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, back in 2017. And this surge in hatred really was put on steroids then after the October 7th Hamas terrorist attacks on Israel. A few statistics to put things in perspective. There's been a nearly 400% spike in incidents nationally since October 7th, 2023. These days, while Jews are only 2% of the population, we are victims of about 70% of all hate crimes motivated by religion. Obviously, there's many more hate crimes against anti-Black racist hate crimes or some other, but Jews are way outsized in terms of being victims. That's true nationally, and it's true for our statistics here in Maryland from the FBI, from the Maryland State Police. On surveys, 56% of Jews report changing their behavior out of fear. That may mean not wearing a Star of David that's visible, or being afraid to wear their yarmulke out in public, or not wearing a certain t-shirt. Nearly 3/4 of our Jewish college students have reported facing or witnessing anti-Semitism in the last year. And all that's true here in Baltimore County. And I'm sure you all heard about the kitchen design shop at the corner of Falls and Lake that was repeatedly had Israeli flags taken, and most recently had red paint thrown on its flag and all over the exterior of the shop. We've had signs defaced outside of synagogues in the county, graffiti on street signs, highways. Our campuses, whether it's Towson or Goucher or UMBC, they've all had incidents. And even in our public schools, we've had incidents of swastikas in bathrooms. You may not have heard about them. Fortunately, we have county leadership who are taking this seriously. The county police, they charged the guy who threw red paint on the kitchen shop. The county schools too. As an example, we had a swastika found in the bathroom of one of our high schools last year. And I heard about it through the grapevine from parents who heard about it from their kids and never heard about it from the school. So I texted the superintendent and said, hey, can I help with the swastika incident at this high school? From her text message back to me, it was clear that the principal hadn't reported it up the chain and she was unaware. And she was pissed, if you'll excuse the language. I got an email back saying, there will be an email that goes out to all the parents about this incident, and I will make sure to forward you a copy, and it will go out by the end of the school day. And it did. And about a month and a half later, when there was a swastika found in the bathroom at actually my kid's high school, how did I find out about it? Because the principal sent an email to all the parents by the end of that school day telling us what happened and condemning it. In the case of the first high school, actually, it happened a couple of times, and our director of security worked with the people he knew in the Baltimore County Police Department to ensure they were aware and to take it seriously. And when it happened again, county police went and checked the cameras, not in the bathroom, in the hallway, and saw the student who went in who did it and identified him and charged him. Again, police are taking these incidents of anti-Jewish hate seriously, and they're following up. And that sends a clear message that hate won't be tolerated, both to the Jewish community and to those who might want to commit acts of hate. We've had success working with our county schools on Holocaust education, and I'm promoting education against hate when incidents occur. Now, the BJC has a long history of fighting anti-Semitism in our community. It goes back to the reason we were founded back in 1939. We believe strongly in advocacy, in education, and allyship. We want to help. Because honestly, so much of anti-Semitism isn't founded in people really wanting to hate, but it's founded in ignorance. Most people who say anti-Semitic things don't know better. They don't want to be hateful. And if we can connect them to help educate, it stops. Yes, there are people who are so hateful that they're beyond education and redemption, but I don't think that's the case for most people. And so that's one of my personal missions, to reach those persuadables, to build relationships, to make a difference. I'm very appreciative of the chance to share a bit this evening with all of you, and I understand some of you may have questions, and so I'm here to take whatever questions you have or whatever discussion you might want to have. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are there any questions just about the state of the work of the Baltimore Jewish Council? I think you gave a really great overview of what's happening here in the county. Any questions or thoughts? Okay, well, thank you so much, Howard, for being here tonight and educating us. We're going to keep our series going so we can learn about lived experience of all communities. And as you know, we appreciate your partnership and allyship and stand strong against hate together.
Absolutely. If I can be helpful to the commission in any way or join you for a future meeting in person, happy to.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So we are on schedule, which is great. And it's time to talk about old business, which is an update on some of our subcommittee work. I know some of the leads aren't here, but are there staff members who are willing to give some updates on, at the very least, the signature event? Because I believe that's rolling forward, and I want to make sure the whole commission has the opportunity to know where that is.
Yes. So I've received periodic communications from Commissioners Johnson, Frick, and Ms. White about their work on the signature event. And they've actually been very busy. They've drafted a run of the show, or a draft of the run of show with itinerary, which is going to consist of panelists, performers, and there will be vendors there, resource vendors as well, to be able to engage with the attendees. Also, right now, waiting on them to finalize the flyer. They submitted a draft in our office, some critique on that to tighten it up a bit. And it's planned for October 17th at the Randallstown Community Center. And it'll be really an all-day event, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning and going through until 3 p.m.
So can I ask a couple of questions? I know we had questions last time. Where are we on, I know you were able to help secure the venue because it's a county property. Where are we on like budget? I know we had talked to our HR director, and that there is budget and there's also carryover budget from last year, but I don't believe we've ever seen it on paper.
I think Sean could probably speak to that. That would be like.
So I'm not sure what the conversation was prior. From what I understand, there wasn't an expectation for it to be on paper, but I can look into how that should be presented.
Yeah. I think I read, if I'm not mistaken, in Article 29, it talks about the commission having the responsibility to manage our own budget. So I think in order to do that, we need to see what's available, and then we need to spend against it responsibly, because I know the commissioners are planning a big event, but who's paying for it?
I
Where's the source coming from?
What I did ask about where,
Yeah.
because to be quite honest, thought that this was already paid for from last, because it was already,
We've been after.
since I stepped in, this was happening, you understand? So I thought it was already
we did receive permission to recruit corporate sponsorship if we were able to do that and to use county resources, which is why I know they picked a county venue. But we've been asking for a budget since January, and so we don't have that information, and I'm assuming they're planning with assumptions, and that concerns me. Before anything goes public, we need to make sure that there's budget and whatever the budget is. I did confirm with our director of HR that there is a budget, and that also we had carryover from last year. She was trying to, through the Department of Finance, determine the amount of either of those things, but we don't have those. And my concern is even if there is budget, that these commissioners on this one subcommittee might be spending all of it. So we need to know what it is, and we need to rein it in, and we need to actually be voting as a commission on any expenditures. I know our refreshments come out of our budget, but outside of that, I think we need to be voting.
So I did put aside a number, but with this information, to look at this information being Article 29, saying that there should be a budget that you all manage, I did not see that. So to look at that, so do you?
And I think we can manage whatever it is, but like, is it $5 million or is it $5,000?
Not $5 million.
We don't have any frame of
Give
reference.
you that.
$5
Not $5 million.
So I think we just need some figures so we can be responsible.
Yeah, I have a number in mind, but I don't want to say it if I can't stand on it. Especially since I can present it to you with accuracy, like it doesn't need to be blurted out. So, I need to figure out where in Article 29 is. I'm gonna have to super HR to see how that's presented, because I know that they it's a process.
Yeah.
But there is money,
Yeah,
so
she
there's
said
not,
there was left
there
over.
is money.
And then whatever was set for us this year, but nobody can determine. And so you said this is on October the 14th? 17th, which means that's only 9 days after our next meeting.
Right, that's why I thought it was already paid for. So, David, when you asked me for the budget before, they were looking for money for the venue program, or no? This is like, it was last month, where you asked for the budget, because they were looking to purchase something.
Was just relaying the chairs.
Because I've asked like 5 million times, yeah. And so we've been asking at every monthly meeting, and we've asked in private, meetings with our county leadership. I just don't think we can hold events, and I'm hesitant for us to publicize something where we've continued, and we've been told there are funds, but never how much, never how we responsibly should utilize them. And so I just have concerns, and that has held up the work all year long, including publication of new educational and awareness materials, including this conference, including we did create, out of the generosity of one of the commissioners, a database for community organizations and partnerships, but we don't have the resources to sustain it because we don't know what the budget is. And I purposely, on the record, have asked every single month, and we don't have any information. So I don't know if it's just like a number that your office sets for us, but when I spoke to the director of HR, I was told that there was unspent budget money from the prior year that rolled over in addition to whatever was allocated for us this year, but no one has, number one, given a number or given us access to know how we can utilize it.
Actually, I recall David did give you a number. The only thing I'm not sure about is the giving the budget to you all to manage. So if you could, I'll email you after to already.
Well, I think when I say manage, I mean, like, if we're voting on usage of funds that are allocated to us, we have to understand the totality of what's available, and then we have to make informed decisions on how to spend it, right? So that's the management piece of it. If it is $5,000 for the year, I'm just throwing that out, then, and we say, as a group, we vote to allocate 1,500 to this activity and 2,000 and 1,000, but that's the management of it.
Yeah, so the number David
Somebody has their hand up.
gave you is
In response to the email that you sent me?
yeah,
Good.
and then you wrote it in the notes. Yeah.
$10,000.
Right. Did he do that too?
I didn't see anything formal. I've been looking for something from the county
Oh,
that is
see,
a
that's what-
formal budget.
that's what-
Like, I don't think we can make decisions on verbal. I think we need to see something that like is a budget that we can spend against, that we can submit receipts, that we have an acquisition form to access. How does this work? And so maybe this is just internal work that needs to happen, but I'm very scared to move forward with an event when this part hasn't been worked out. And how have you done it in the past? I would love to.
Madam Chair, may I interrupt
Yes.
briefly? In my experience with the other commissions, and again, I can't say that it's the same or different, but in my experience, there is a allocated budget, and oftentimes it is divided amongst that commission on for their various programming or subcommittees. But it's a set amount that goes, and that's determined by the county, that goes to the commission. And in my experience, it does not roll over. It has to be used within that year.
Thank you for that. I think
Yeah.
that's information.
So a point of contact would probably, I'll send you the person that we typically have to go through to get that done, and maybe that may be a good starting point.
Thank you. Is there a process in place to access it?
Yeah, I mean, she would be able to at least give some guidance with that. She's our point of contact with the Women's Commission and typically with some of the other ones. So I don't know if she would be the designated point of contact for us as well, but she certainly would know. If she's not, she would know who is.
I would just add to that, according to 3-3-1-1105 of the code, was to submit to this county executive company budget request for expenses to carry out provisions. So it may be helpful to perhaps talk with HR and also to all budget finance to see exactly what was allocated as far as expenses, as far as expenses that were made, see what that number is, and then be able to see if there's a point of contact that may be able to work to see exactly what monies were in fact allocated. And then be able to go from there and also look at Article 49 to see if this thing talks about the management. Because if there's not, that may be something we may want to think about as far as your bylaws.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
So this would have been requested in 2024 for us for this year? Is that?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was done. That's why I thought this is something.
I believe it was
I'm
done.
learning. I'm learning that it wasn't, but
Well, I believe something is there. And it was requested because she did, the director of HR did validate that. We just don't know how to utilize it.
Yeah, and then the issue, Madam Chair, is going to be how soon you need to spend that down. Do you see what I mean? Because I don't know that it's carried over. So whenever it was requested, it probably needed to be used within that year.
Say it can't roll over, right?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it can roll over. So, Madam Chair, would you like for me to send you the information in private, or I can share the contact now?
I think if you can send it to me, I'd be grateful for that.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
You know, in the past, Commission for Women had their budget. Either use it or you lose it by the end of the year. You didn't roll anything over. It was simply good for that particular year.
Was that calendar year?
Yes.
All right, so we have a lot or a little money to spend as a commission between now and December 31st.
That's another question, in regard to.
the number is real.
Did
The $10,000
Yes.
is a real number.
Which is the way you were asking for it, rightfully so. This is
Yeah,
not.
I don't think we can vote on word of mouth.
No, rightfully so. But I'm the one that controls it.
Okay,
And that's what the Commission for Women had a $10,000 budget.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, Madam Chair, sorry to interrupt. I have another question around, aside from budget, the event, I guess two questions. One is who is the anticipated audience to get this publicized out to, with the hopes of getting to come to this event? Again, the timeframe seems real tight. It's not yet finalized and it's only a month or so away. Of course, this budget question could drive that. Again, if it's something we have to spend by the end of the year, we need to do something with it. So, but my question was around timing of communication, and is it a tight time frame?
Do you mean if the time, like the date and the time is finalized?
No, so we're only, what, 5 weeks away, and my curiosity was around how big of an event are you looking for this to be? Are we looking for this to be, who's the intended audience? Because it's not a lot of time for somebody to plan to come to an event within 5 weeks. And it's,
Yeah.
so,
No, and I'm in agreement with that. Again, we've been, Mr. Brian just got here. Sure. But well before he got here, we've been asking, on a regular basis to try to get that done. The date for this event, I believe, was set back in March through the work on the commission, and they worked really, really hard on it. I think the intended audience was, residents as well as county staff members. It's an educational event with panel. I'm tapped to speak and others they've asked to speak. They have some cultural entertainment included, and they've worked really hard on the event, but we're just a little stagnant. And I agree that it won't succeed. It may need to be postponed until we can get a handle. We don't even know how long the process is to, even if we have a budget to utilize it and stuff. So I don't know. Anybody else have thoughts?
And, marketing, I'm assuming that this is not, I didn't see any flyers.
They're working on the flyer. David just said this. They drafted a flyer. David had some critiques on the flyer, so they're just redoing the flyer. And so when they're done making those, changes, I think they will come back with a fresher flyer for us to move forward with. And then I'm assuming, David, we need to go through the Office of Community Engagement or
The Office of Communication, just to send out the flyer so they can.
Communication, sorry. To make sure that the flyer is okay when it comes to the Baltimore County standards. And hopefully that's not a long process. Just because that takes, that will obviously cut into our time. But we would want to make sure the Office of Community Engagement gets the flyer out. We want to get the flyer out to the Office of Immigrant Affairs. We want to get the flyer out to the Office of Health and Human Services. We want to get the flyer out to many of our county agencies that can get it out to their agencies so that we can get as many people involved, such as the Office of, the Department of Aging, all these different communities out there so that we can get as many of our residents involved as possible. And then also just to make sure I get this tidbit in, we want to make sure we have as many of you all as commissioners a part of the event because we do need help during the event. Just for moderators, speakers, just, throughout the event, whatever else help that they're going to need throughout the day. Staff will be there to help as much as possible, but we're going to need some additional help too.
I just have a question, because this event, right now, it's on Friday, I don't know how many people can join this meeting. Because from my previous experience, that most of those kind of events that they are doing that on weekends, and that we can draw more audience. That's my.
That's a valid point.
You've all voted on the date?
We voted on the signature event. We empowered the subcommittee to take the reins and they've reported. I'm surprised no one's here today to report because they've reported consistently at every meeting. Someone told she had a baby. Oh, okay. Well, that's a valid one.
I gotta
No,
go.
now you got well, like,
No, it's the right place.
Yeah, and so they announced the date, the intention, the objectives and all of that. I think the only thing that has been kind of vacillating is just like where the resources were coming from. And so that, I'm actually proud that they pushed the work forward because that was their charge for this calendar year. Now, whether or not we, as a commission, feel like we need to issue to them the suggestion to postpone it, so that when we do it the right way, that need to be the appetite of the commission tonight.
I won't have to make the decision right now, that means that perhaps knowing where the finances are, you can have an event that isn't perfect, but still puts the commission on the map, is in the community, being a center for next year's event.
Maybe it's a condensed version of the event. I see that it was planned for 8:30 to 3, so maybe it's not an all-day event. So is there a way we can, she's otherwise occupied having a baby, but is there a way we can, outside of the meeting, kind of like reconvene through email and see if there's a way to either shift it, to condense it, and or postpone it to a time where we feel better equipped to let it represent the work and all of us as commissioners.
You made a great point. Let it happen. Just so we're still getting the name out there, especially if they did all the work. And then next year we know, okay, if mistakes not that. So they're both great points.
I'll give Madam Chairman credit too, though. We also don't want to do something and it be a poor
Yeah,
presentation.
they're both great things.
Yeah, you better do all, and sometimes you're better off doing nothing.
Like at least 3 months to promote.
And to sort this out.
I personally would be on that side. I'm just coming in fresh, but my fresh perspective, not knowing what's planned for the event exactly. It feels like a time frame. Unless there's something compelling that's driving this time, why would we want to rush it? If we could take a little bit more time and pull it off the way that it was intended.
Yeah.
And do you know, is anyone know the capacity? How many people? I think that's what your question was. Like it's 500 people coming.
Well, it's at Randallstown Community Center, so if you think about the large one there, I think they touted for 300 people capacity.
And also, I don't know if the subcommittee gave you like a draft for budget, where the money was spent for what, for speakers, for food, or for what? If just a normal event, probably they do not need that amount.
One of the things that they discussed was getting a PA system to be able to project the sounds of the presenters. You probably want to have some kind of like an audio tech running the sound so everything is professional. You don't have problems.
Did they have food involved?
No,
Well,
but
you can't keep people from 8:30 to.
but they invited vendors. So they were anticipating that there would be vendors available for people to be able to
Purchase their own food.
purchase.
And this was free to attend.
Yes.
Right, well, I mean, it's up to, we have some people who say push forward, we have some who say, let's hold up. I think the question was asked, was there any reason to like have it? The only reason was that it was one of the goals we wanted to accomplish this year. And so,
If I may, I think that you should get confirmation as far as the money. And that's something that we should.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
yeah,
Do we have the ability to set up tables at events? For an example, there is a big Power of Age Expo that's coming up. It's the end of October. I don't know if it's still, an opportunity to purchase a table or booth or what have you, but just in terms of visibility, there are several. In fact, the county executive's office is there. Several other county, agencies are going to be there as well. Perhaps maybe holding off and coming up with something else that we can reasonably invest in such a short amount of time that's going to help promote the visibility as well as building partnerships as we go would be a good idea to consider.
We went last year, but we didn't get any information this year. We're open to going this year if we can get the information.
The age department?
Yeah.
Expo? Yeah, I was there last year too. For myself. I can look.
so when you're tabling as an Office of DEI,
No,
you're
Human
tabling
Relations.
Relations, and you paid for the Opportunity to table?
I don't know though.
All right, so obviously, our budget falls within the Office of DEI. What we don't have is a process, right? Like, and so, Commissioner Greer is gonna send us a contact person. I think, my vote, and I only have one, would be that we have a conversation about kind of putting the brakes on until we, figure out what we have access to. And I love the idea to be more visible and to, table and stuff. And once we have some funds, we can actually have something to put on a table. Because right now, we don't have the printed material that we want to have. We don't have anything to distribute about the rights and stuff, but the committee has worked on those things. Is there anyone else that wants to offer opinion that's different? Right, so we'll have a conversation with the commissioners that have been working on this to see, and then in the interim, since you mentioned that it's your decision, can we ask of you to please provide us with your process? Like what it looks like to submit a request to you, where the forms are to do so. If you've allocated a budget for us, have you already broken it down into categories of expenditure? And then how you would like us to follow the process to spend the money down between now and December 31st. And then we're going to ask you now to please put the request in for us for next year.
Yeah, the conversation is happening
Okay.
in a couple of weeks.
Right. Well, we have some housekeeping to take care of, and that's good. We have room for growth and room for protocol improvements, and that's why we have a new chief in place. And so we're hopeful that everything right sizes for us to be able to do the work. So we now have opening it up for new business. I know one of our new commissioners indicated having some ideas. This is where we can not only talk about ideas and strategies, but if you have reports from your district that you represent, we want to hear those, any upcoming events and activities or community outreach efforts. So the floor is open for that new business.
I wanted to attention to something. Outreach events, attending events, making your presence known to the community, that's great, right? But as far as I can see, and of course, I don't know that much, but that's not as effective as we would want it to be. And so two communities I'd like to give examples of is number one, you have current events surrounding the Hispanic community and the entire situation surrounding ICE and the fear that the Hispanic community is facing. You have, for example, recently there was a case of a woman, and this is in Virginia, not that far away. She faced domestic violence to the point that she was severely injured and needed medical attention. However, she did not go to seek that attention because she was scared that if she went to the hospital, she would get deported. Several days later, she was actually found dead. And you also have many, many instances across the country, even in Baltimore, of students, Hispanic students, who are not going to schools anymore because they don't want to get deported or they've seen traumatizing things. And then on a different note, you also have Baltimore County students, and where the rate of dropouts in Baltimore County high schools is 3 times higher than the national dropout rate and 2 times higher than surrounding communities like Howard County and whatnot. And to tie this all together, I feel, and I don't know if this has been looked at or not, but we need to think about something that allows us to engage more with our community, and that would be something where we go and we talk to the community and we find out what the issues surrounding them and how we can help them. So that would be like going to shelters, talking to people in the shelters, talking to welfare organizations, talking to people in we need to go out and talk to the community instead of waiting for the community to find us. Right? Because personally, I didn't know that HRC was a thing last year. So I think that we need to focus on becoming a bigger part of the community, talking to the community, because stories is data, and with data we can that change. And yeah, if that has not been looked at, I think we should take a look. Going out and collecting these stories so that we can have proper change.
Thank you.
Well said.
Yeah.
That was great.
Any thoughts?
I agree. When I was thinking of outreach, going to food banks and shelters was, something in mind. But you said it way better than I was planning, so, great job. It's just how we plan to do that would be, how we will figure out. It'd be a table, or we actually decide as a group to volunteer, and just volunteer while saying, but we also can't support it in this way. It just depends, how we do it, but should we do it? Yes, I agree, so. Make that decision.
Okay, but following this, on October 4th, the Chinese American Parents Association is collaborating with YMCA here in Towson to have like a festival event, so we can sit and like reserve a table for this commission, for Human Relations Commission. So there you can have your like flyers or whatever, like advertise this commission.
So should we, so we said October 4th?
Yes,
What time?
it's the afternoon, it's Saturday afternoon. So you can bring some like
Do
maybe.
you have a flyer?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you.
Okay, thank you.
You know, less focused.
Is the flyer translated?
It is English.
But should we get it translated also in Cantonese or Mandarin?
Oh, we have both languages.
Okay,
We have Chinese and English.
okay, so, sorry.
Go back out and have some of the commission meetings in various districts hosted by the commissioners, so that way we're going into.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, that's amazing.
COVID obviously diminishes the action of that, but there was an opportunity to have that commissioner, where which district it was, be hosted, like to host it, and I think get us back, have some funding from commission to like kind of have a little
Always
something
comes back to the point.
there. But again, it spread, it also spreads this around and educates the commissioners, because maybe you walked in Randallstown, I've never been to Essex, or even whatever it might be. So you bring it across the county, and yes, it takes over the course of a couple of years to get everywhere, so, but it's an idea.
I think that's a great idea. I would love to look at that, even for some of the meetings we have set up in person.
But that's what, even some of the scheduled
Yeah.
commissions. And then it gets into also, functionality for being able to.
Maybe we can find community rooms or other places
Yeah.
within the districts, to be able to get us out to the county a little bit more. We'd love to do that. So if anyone is interested, certainly people will see the minutes as well. If you're interested as a commissioner in hosting, I'm District 4, even though I'm at large, right? Like, so I'm in Rexerstown. We can go out there, but I'd love to go somewhere a little bit more.
What kind of meeting do we?
The commission meeting, to actually have commissioners hosted in their district
Oh.
where they live, to get us out into different neighborhoods, be around real people.
We did one time in Turner Station,
I would love that.
and we had such a great turnout. We used their hall. And we had such a great turnout, and people never heard of us. They didn't know what we did, why we did it, and everything else. They were full of questions. But it was very successful. It's been many years ago.
It has,
And
I was younger then.
ABC does,
we all were,
monthly community combos. We do them mostly in Baltimore City, but we come up to the county too. So our next one in September is actually in the county. So it's in Parkville. I'll send you the flyer videos on Wednesday, September 24th at Christ Villa Church. And so we'll be there. We do community listening, like town hall sessions where we listen to what's going well, what the challenges are. It would be great to have some commissioners join us there if you're available. And then also we have an event on Saturday, this Saturday, called the Cookout. It's a festival celebration of Black culture in the village of Cross Keys. And so I'll send videos, both things, so she can hopefully get out tomorrow, but certainly everyone is invited to those two things.
Do you have a list in mind, or of some shelters or things you want to want us to visit so we can make sure that it gets on our agenda in the future?
So I don't have an exact list of names. However, I was looking into a clinic called Esperanza Health. I think it's a free health clinic.
Cap for charities.
I think so. And it treats a lot of Hispanic community. I could definitely look into different shelters. I would be happy to go and talk to them. But yeah, I think it's great.
So that's part of our,
May I piggyback off of that?
yes.
So I think the partnering with a lot of community stakeholders is crucial. In addition, finding out what some of the other commissions are doing and appearing at some of their events, because we have a lot of shared overlapping, objectives. For an example, with the Women's Commission, we have donated, we do it every holiday. We donate gifts to 50 to 100 women and children every Christmas holiday, and we go out to the shelters. And so it's a perfect opportunity for our commission as well to show up and talk about what we do and how we can benefit. So just, in answering the question about some of these shelters, right? Many of the organizations and commissions are already doing work inside of those target populations. And we just need to tap into it. We don't need to recreate the wheel per se. We just need to join forces.
Absolutely. Are there any other upcoming events? Don't you have a fall festival for the disability community?
Yes, yeah. So that's October. So.
We'll send Vivios a flyer.
Okay, yeah.
The art in Baltimore.
Yes. But it is, yes, it's a family fall fest at one of our locations on Seeking Business Park off of the Parkway, and it's inviting all the folks we support, their families, community, staff. So yeah, I'll get some more information out. If anyone wants to join, it would be awesome.
Are we able to table?
Sure, but we could think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there are no other events, I want to open the floor to this.
One more on the folder, the African American Festival.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Still in Towson, right? September 20th. Will we table there? Are we set up or is it?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you.
Where is the public plaza?
It's the conference.
It's right
Top
here.
Plaza, right
Right here in
outside
front
here.
of-
Oh, at the corner.
This is still Cynthia de Jesus, I think, that runs this.
Yeah.
No, not anymore? Oh, wow, okay. Changes everywhere. All right, so outside of new events, we're getting ready to adjourn. I want to open the floor for any ideas for next meetings, learning opportunities. So today I chose anti-Semitism and we chose before the Commission on Civil Rights. Is there any community, any lived experience we want to learn more about? I'm going to give you an opportunity either to state it on the record or to contact me privately to bring it forward, and we can find someone to help educate us and sensitize us to bias and, potential violations of civil rights in a specific community.
So I can offer up in the disability developmental disability. I have someone who leads our human rights committee, and she would be more than happy to come in and share those issues that are found in our support. So I'm not sure I can share with her and see if there's a possibility.
Yes.
For in the future, but I'm sure she'll be glad.
That's great. Anyone else want to put anything on so that we can consider? And if not, you can reach out to me personally. And so at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion, is there a second? Okay, all in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting at 7:32 p.m.? Aye? Aye? Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You didn't anything.